So we're live from eMerge Americas, and I'm here with Rosa Jiménez Cano. She represents Jeeves, and also she is a contributor with Wired.
Yeah,
Welcome,
that's
Rosa.
news. Thank you.
Thank you for being here with me.
Of
We're
course,
gonna
pleasure.
have a fun conversation.
Okay.
So to get started, I wanted to ask you, with your educational background in journalism, how have you been able to leverage your storytelling abilities and communication skills to amplify the voices of innovation in the Miami ecosystem?
Wow, what a question. I think it's a mix of your own story plus the techniques you learn on how to tell stories. But also I think it's a matter of simplicity. Try to make things simple and give people like a takeaway. If you try to tell them 5 or 4 things at a time, they don't know which is the headline, what they need to pick. So it's better to tell just one story, and next time add something, like a new chapter. But if you try to tell 5 things at a time, especially with the media, then it's like, but what's the news, this or that? And that's when you lose the control of the messaging.
Understood. So simple messaging, one message at a time,
Yeah.
so we don't communicate our audience,
Yeah.
confuse,
Yes.
our audience. Okay, well that's a great technique. So my next question is, given your expertise in journalism, can you share your perspective on how the media coverage of the Miami tech scene has evolved in the last couple of years? As you've seen, Miami has become this vibrant city. What
Yeah.
have you seen?
I think it's a big question, very important, very relevant to me, because since I moved here, that is now 5 years ago, I felt that there's a lack, not just information, but also coverage. Given the amount of money that is being invested here, the amount of ideas, plus the talent that is coming. And I think the ecosystem itself is doing a big effort with, as you do, a lot of content. Also Stories Refresh Miami has been doing a great job for I think more than 10 years. And also we had Nancy Dalbert for many years until she
Yes.
retired, and now she's contributing from Refresh Miami, as I said. But I think big media and also the Herald right now with Vinod, I think is a big bet, and that's important. But I think there are many more stories to tell that is still untapped. And to me, there are 2 main things. And to me, there's not a regret, but somehow a remorse for national media in the U.S., which is, first, for Latin media, this is more aspirational. So they stay on the layer of how cool it is, how it looks like Miami and all that, like the Miami vibe.
Yeah.
And for national media, it's more like parachuting. Like they come, they cover, they leave. And you can read, I don't know, New York Times, you can read Recode, you can read several media outlets.
Yes.
And they're all writing the same story. Like having, people are building something while they have fun in Miami. Like the party scene, and there's much more than that. Like we live where they vacation. So it's kind of a stereotype that they keep digging deep into that. And I think it's like we have fun, or weekends are amazing, but at the same time there are many things going on here. So I remember for a time there was Marcela doing covering for TechCrunch,
Yes.
but that wasn't enough. And also Bloomberg Linea, so I think that's super good, but it doesn't stay on the time, and the tech ecosystem here is growing. So I don't know how to fix that, but that's what we need, both in English and Spanish.
Yes, I think it's a matter of time and also more coverage of
Yes.
these incredible stories. And even from Endeavor, we support these entrepreneurs that are under the radar still. So hopefully, as soon they start coming out, there's more
They're gonna
coverage
be-
from the media,
yes.
and then Miami can start becoming this relevant tech hub for the United States. So very
Sure.
important. So as someone with a journalist background, how do you approach covering the technical aspects of the Miami tech ecosystem? And what strategies do you use to make complex technology topics, for example, like AI, accessible and engaging for a broader audience?
I think it's a very good question, because I want to say something that may annoy a lot of journalists. I can say it. If they say it to me, I would feel bad, which is a journalist has a ocean of knowledge with just 2 centimeter depth, right? So you can know a lot of things, but if you try to deep dive, it's difficult because you don't know about everything. But the key here, and there's something I talked with Urbano yesterday, we talked about that, is having the right sources, going to the right people that can explain that, and then you make that job of making it accessible to the public, right? Like
Correct.
that simplicity. And I think Miami is very important in that because it has really good universities
Yes.
that can explain that, like both health, transportation, sustainability, business, like blockchain. There's the right people in order to explain that, and we are lucky enough to have them in both languages. So they are bilingual experts.
Yes,
that
that's
is not
correct.
that common. I see that when there are like new diseases, when COVID came, like they were like experts in tropical disease, that they came from Cuba and now they're experts. They're like even engineers. There are a lot of people that can explain things in both languages, and that makes our job easier, better, but also the public service side well done.
Yeah. Well, we're a very diverse city, right? And now more than ever, we see different nationalities, people moving from different parts of the United States, but also from Latin America. There's a huge migration
Yeah.
from Latin America to the city. So yes, language is very important, and most people here are bilingual.
Spanglish.
Spanglish.
I was making fun of people when I moved here, like, oh, and now I talk like them. When I go to Madrid, like, you say Dali instead of Vale, like, oh shit, yeah.
It's okay. It's everything's valid. Okay, so the Miami tech ecosystem is known for its diversity, just as I mentioned, and it's a very vibrant community. And I think people collaborate and support each other a lot, and that's what people are liking about the city. Can you discuss the importance of diverse representation in tech journalism and how you work to ensure your coverage showcase a wide range of perspectives?
Okay, I'm gonna go the other way around, right? When
You
I
do
moved to
what-
Miami, I wanted to do something, and I connected with a person that used to work in Endeavor, that I like her a lot, and with Sandra Ramos, and we did Latinas in Tech,
Oh,
Miami
yeah, I
chapter.
remember.
Okay, and we were like, oh, so in Silicon Valley being Latina was a differentiator. Now here, this is the normal thing.
Yeah.
If you're a woman, and also one of the beauty of Miami is that Miami tech has been being led by women, like by default since the beginning. It doesn't make a difference here. So being a Latina in tech is a regular thing.
Yes.
So while you see Silicon Valley like 30%, 20%, here is like no. Is it like I remember Laura Maidon, Laura González Stefani, Melissa Medina. Like wherever you look, you like that contribution is different. So I think Miami is diverse by default in so many ways. Like people
Yes.
from the Caribbean, like it doesn't matter which country you come from, and I think it's what's making this part of the world very special.
Yeah. That's
So
very
the
true.
representation side is more like when you pitch your editors, what was to me a challenge while I was in El País, like to me the big change is I come from a newspaper that is like wide coverage to a specialized place. So if I'm pitching Urbano, he understands things because he's already tech versed.
Yeah.
If you're pitching a regular editor, what are the figures? What are the numbers? Why less storytelling, right? And more, how can I measure this because I don't know if it's fake or not. Once you are into a tech publication, it's more finding the whys and the hows. People they come from very diverse backgrounds. They have different ideas,
Yeah.
and that's what's gonna change the world. So I think here is something that that war is already won in this area. Maybe not in the rest of the
Yeah.
U.S. or the world, but here I think is one of the things that we should highlight. That we don't need to make an effort in order to be diverse.
Yeah, that's very true. And I'm very proud to say that in the Endeavor team, 75% of our team are
Female.
women. So yes, I agree with you in everything that you said. So before we wrap up, I just have one last question. So collaboration is essential in both the tech and journalism industries. Can you share an example of a partnership or collaboration between media and tech organizations in the Miami ecosystem that resulted in a positive impact on the local ecosystem or that brought attention to a specific issue, for example?
I think the Herald has been doing their pitch competition for many years. That's something that is solid, and every year they do that.
And we have been managing it for the last 2 years.
So it's like three parties, right?
Yeah.
Like Miami Herald, the Ecosystem, Endeavor. So that's one. And the other is more on the side, but it was very interesting to me. CNBC and Telemundo, they do also a hackathon in order to solve their issues. I think it doesn't translate into new startups, but more like hiring some talent, technical talent that they need. But I like that they do it too.
Yeah.
So it's a media corp trying to get into tech, attracting new talent and trying to build new ideas or solutions. So those are the two ideas that I've seen that, oh, I like it. I wish we had more.
Yes.
And I think could be done, but it's also a matter of like, I think it's a snowball effect.
I agree. And it's only going to get better with the years to come.
Of course.
Because we're seeing that growth in this ecosystem, and there's more technology, more startups moving to the city. So
More stories, more people.
More stories.
like,
It's all about
we have less
storytelling.
drama than Silicon Valley. We are very Latinos drama, but not in tech, so that's good.
So stay tuned for more storytelling on our incredible startup founders. And
Okay.
thank you so much, Rosa,
My
for
pleasure.
talking to me.
Al revés, un placer.